The term pharaoh is often used in various cultural contexts, particularly in South Asia, to refer to the ancient Egyptian pharaohs. Mummies, especially those of the pharaohs, have fascinated people for centuries due to their historical, cultural, and religious significance. Historical context. The practice of mummification in ancient Egypt dates back to the pre-dynastic period, before 3100 BCE, and continued through the Ptolemaic period, 332 and 30 BCE. The ancient Egyptians believed in the afterlife and thought that preserving the body was crucial for the soul's journey to the next world. This belief was particularly strong among the pharaohs, who were considered divine or semi-divine beings. The process of mummification. The mummification process evolved over time, but by the New Kingdom period, 1550 to 1070 BCE, it had become highly sophisticated. The process typically involved several steps. Removal of internal organs. The internal organs were removed to prevent decay. The brain was usually extracted through the nostrils using a hooked instrument, and the abdominal cavity was opened to remove the stomach, intestines, liver, and lungs. These organs were often placed in canopic jars, which were buried with the mummy. Desiccation. The body was then dehydrated using a natural salt called natron. This process took about 40 days and helped to preserve the body by removing moisture, wrapping. After dehydration, the body was wrapped in linen bandages. Amulets and other protective items were placed between the layers of bandages. The wrapping process could take up to 15 days and was often accompanied by rituals and prayers. Final burial. The mummified body was placed in a series of coffins, which were then placed in a tomb. The tomb was filled with items the deceased might need in the afterlife, such as food, clothing, and treasures. Famous pharaoh mummies. Several pharaoh mummies have been discovered and studied extensively, providing valuable insights into ancient Egyptian culture and practices. Some of the most famous include Tutankhamun. Perhaps the most famous of all Egyptian mummies, Tutankhamun's tomb was discovered in 1922 by Howard Carter. The tomb was largely intact, providing a wealth of artifacts and information about the young pharaoh's life and death. Ramses II. Known as Ramses the Great, he is often regarded as one of Egypt's greatest pharaohs. His mummy was discovered in 1881 in a cache at Deir el-Bahari. Ramses II's mummy has been studied extensively, revealing details about his health and mummification. Seti I, the father of Ramses II, Seti I's mummy, was also found in the Deir el-Bahari cache. His well-preserved mummy is considered one of the finest examples of ancient Egyptian mummification. Significance of mummification. Mummification was more than just a means of preserving the body. It was a deeply religious practice. The ancient Egyptians believed that the preservation of the body was essential for the soul to recognize it in the afterlife. The process of mummification was accompanied by various ritual and prayers intended to protect the deceased in the afterlife. The mummies of the pharaohs, in particular, were often buried with significant treasures and items meant to assist them in the afterlife. These tombs and their contents have provided modern researchers with invaluable information about ancient Egyptian society, culture, religion, and daily life. Modern studies and discoveries. Modern technology has allowed for even more detailed studies of Egyptian mummies. Techniques such as X-ray and CT scanning have enabled researchers to study the mummies without damaging them. These studies have provided insights into the health, diet, and lifestyles of ancient Egyptians. They have also revealed information about the diseases that afflicted them and the medical treatments they used. For instance, studies of Tutankhamun's mummy have revealed that he suffered from several health issues, including a cleft palate, clubfoot, and possibly malaria. These findings have challenged previous theories about his death and have provided a more comprehensive picture of his life and reign. Cultural impact. The discovery and study of Egyptian mummies have had a profound impact on popular culture. They have inspired numerous books, films, and other forms of media, often focusing on the mystery and intrigue surrounding the pharaohs and their tombs. The fascination with mummies has also contributed to the growth of Egyptology as a field of study and has spurred interest in ancient Egyptian history and culture around the world. In conclusion, the mummies of the ancient Egyptian pharaohs represent a fascinating intersection of science, religion, and culture. The practice of mummification was a complex and highly significant process that reflected the ancient Egyptians' beliefs about death and the afterlife. The study of these mummies continues to provide valuable insights into one of the most intriguing civilizations in human history.